Hi everyone, this is Ellen, and today I am making a pre-tutorial video for people who would like to make their own ukulele strap but might not know how to crochet. So I've had a few requests to share the pattern or how to do this from some fellow ukulele players who some do and some don't know how to crochet. So for those who don't, this is where you want to start. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to gather your materials and tools. You will want yarn. In this case, I'm using this yarn by Rainbow from a company called Hobby Online, HOBBII.com. This is mercerized cotton, which means it's going to be stronger. It's not going to shrink. It's going to have really nice colors that it holds well. So I would recommend a mercerized cotton. They call this an 8/4 size, which is the same thing as fingering weight. So if you get some nice fingering weight cotton mercerized yarn, you could use a thinner yarn. If you want to find some mercerized cotton thread, you can do that as long as you're comfortable using it. You'll want to add more stitches. It won't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The only thing you don't want to do is go bigger. Maybe you could get by with a DK weight. Maybe. I would be concerned about getting that underneath your strings. You know, you want to have clearance there so that it's not muffling your strings. So I think having a nice thin strap is the way to go. Which is why I'm going to be showing you how to start your crochet project and how to work these stitches with the thin yarn. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on YouTube that will show you how to make a chain and how to work a slip stitch with thicker yarn. If you need that to see better, I'm hoping this will be visible for you. I just want to show you what it's going to look like when you're working on this particular project. Okay, so you want to have your yarn. You also want to have a crochet hook. I am using a 3.0 millimeter crochet hook. You could also get away with a 3.25 or maybe even a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. If you're using a different size yarn, then you'll want to use the appropriate hook for that yarn. And then you'll also need some scissors. Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to teach you how to make a chain and how to work a slip stitch into that chain. With those two skills, you're going to be able to make this entire strap. You'll also need to know how to single crochet. Maybe I'll show you that too. That's right. I forgot that I do some single crochet at the end. Okay, we'll show you that. So the first thing you want to do is make your chain. So take your yarn and you'll start at the end of the yarn, the tail right there. Grab your tail, take your pointer finger and wrap the tail around your finger one time. And then wrap your tail around your pointer finger a second time. And now you have what appears to be two hoops or two loops on your finger. You want to take the loop that is closer to your hand and bring it up and over the other loop, but not off your finger. And then you will take the remaining loop that's on your finger and bring that up and over the finger. Now you have a slip knot. Insert your hook into the loop of the slip knot and then pull your working yarn gently to create your slip knot on the hook. Now the working yarn is the yarn that is attached to your yarn ball. And you'll want to make sure you have enough working yarn pulled out. Excuse me, getting over a cold here. And now you are ready to make a chain. So you're holding your crochet hook in your right hand or your left hand, whichever hand is what you use. And you want to hold, what I do is I hold the tail with these two fingers. I bring the rest of the working yarn through my hand, like so, over this ring finger under the pinky to the working yarn. And then over this pointer finger allows me to change my tension in the working yarn. So when you're starting your chain, you want to have your pointer finger like this. I mean, if you can find a more comfortable way to do this, then all power to you. There's no there's no like set in stone right way to do this. This is just a very common way that makes sense to a lot of people. So this is the way I'm going to teach you. So you don't want to hold everything too tight. You want to have a nice relaxed grip, and it will take you some time to get this. It's fine. So how you make a chain is you want to take your hook and go under this yarn and then turn a little bit so that you're grabbing. See, I'm grabbing the yarn. I grab that yarn and I just pull it through the loop made with the slip knot. And I've made my first chain. And then maybe pinch the knot, go up a little, pinch that knot, and do it again. Grab your yarn, pull it through the loop, and I've made another chain. Grab the yarn, pull through the loop, chain. Once you have a few chains, and it's even easier, you can hold on to that. It's important to not pull this really tight. If you pull it really tight and start making your chains like that, you see how I have tight chains on the top and then loose chains down here? You're not going to want to have tight chains for this project, or really any project when you're starting with a chain. But when you're starting, what you're probably going to have happen is you're going to do this and this, and you're going to and have it, and your chain might look really wonky like that, or even weirder, and you might get frustrated. But don't. It's as you practice, just keep doing it. Have your chain be 10 feet long. Just keep doing it. Just grab your yarn through the loop. Grab your yarn through the loop. Try to keep things even. Try to keep your loop. When controlling the loop means like you're gonna like lift up the loop. Like I can lift up my hook and pull that loop and make a very large loop. See, I can make a very large chain. We don't want that for this project. And we also don't want that super tight chain. We want a nice, even chain that we can work into, but that's not going to be so big that it's flopping around and being weird. So you will just make your chain, and eventually you're going to be doing like this, like, oh yeah, this is easy. I can make a chain. And once you get to the point where your chain looks nice and even, then you'll want to make your chain in the length that I will suggest to you in the next video for the strap. But you see, you want your chain to look pretty even, not like the craziness that I have previously. So once you have a nice even chain, then you're going to slip stitch into that chain. And that is the stitch that this strap is made out of. But in this tutorial, you will be changing colors. So what you will do is you'll want to cut your yarn. So make a little loop there, take your scissors, cut, give that a tug. So you've ended your chain. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your second color. In this case, I think I'll take the red. And we're going to slip stitch. I think when you're a beginner, the easiest way to join yarn might be to make yourself a slip knot, like I showed you before. Put on your hook. So how you're going to want to join this is like you see the chains. You see how like that's a chain right there. That's a chain. That's a chain. The top part, there's like these little arcs at the top, and then there's a lower arc. Each chain, it looks like a chain, like a metal chain. So you'll want to go into that top arc, that top loop, insert your hook there, grab the working yarn, not the tail, the working yarn that's attached to your yarn ball, and you're basically going to make a chain, just like you did when you're making your chain. You'll want to grab your yarn with your hook And you're going to make a chain, only the difference is you're going to pull it through this hoop first, and then you're going to put it through this chain that you've made, that slip knot loop. So I've made my first slip stitch. Then you're going to insert your hook again into the next arc there, the next little bump or loop. Grab your yarn, pull it through the loop, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. Now this part is very important to focus on tension. Just like it was important when making the chain to look at tension, this is as, if not more important, because oftentimes when people work a slip stitch, they're working it in to move their work to another point in the project to build up some stitches, but they want that slip stitch to pretty much remain invisible. So the slip stitches are often hidden and very small and often not being worked into. We are actually going to be working into these slip stitches. So with every slip stitch, we want to make sure that maybe that, you see how this is about twice as tall as my hook? Like I could fit probably 2 hooks in there. You want to bring up that loop, put it into the chain, pull up a loop, and then through the loop. So again, so we've got, I've pulled up my loop, not too tall, but maybe about like I could fit another hook underneath there. I like to hold it with my finger to keep it in place. Insert your hook into the chain, just one loop of the chain. Grab your working yarn with your hook, pull it through the chain, and then through the loop on your hook. So it's like I'm working a chain, only I'm working it through a ring. And I'm really making sure that my tension remains consistent throughout, so that when I go to the other side of the project, I can work into these chains. I'll show you if I was making it really small. Let's see, I'm not going to bring that up. I'm going to work really tight slip stitches, how a lot of people do and it makes sense in some projects to work them nice and tight. And if you don't intentionally make your loop on that you're working with a little bit loose, then your chains are going to automatically veer to the tight side. You see the difference there? It's going to be really, really hard to work into these later. It's going to be pretty easy to work into that later to add more stitches. Really difficult to add stitches here. Plus, it's going to make these small stitches are going to make your project bunch up. So you really want to focus on making nice, loose chains, slip stitches into your chain. Nice, loose. See, I made a tight chain here to show you what not to do, and this is really hard to work into. And my yarn is splitting because of it. So you'll save yourself a lot of headaches if you just really take some time to practice making a chain. See how this is all wonky now? Because I'm working into this chain that wasn't consistent. So you really want to have a nice, consistent, that looks like this. So it looks nice and clean, like this, nice and even, consistent to start this project. And so if you would like to make this ukulele strap, then I recommend that you practice making your chains, that you're really consistent, practice your tension, practice your slip stitching, and just give it hours or days or even weeks. Get your favorite movie on, just practice your chain. It will eventually click. You'll eventually be a master at making chains and a master at slip stitching. And once you know that, then you'll be able to do pretty much any crochet stitch. For example, let me show you what a single crochet looks like, because a single crochet is what I used here at the edge of the strap, as well as making these little tabs that cover up where we sew in our ends. See, this, I sewed in the ends here, and see how that doesn't look good? this was my prototype, and I didn't think about making these at that point. I was just like, I just had the strap, and I was just kind of playing it by ear. And I had a lot of, I was like, well, what if I cover up these ends by making a little, what would you call this, little end piece? It's really for cosmetic reasons. But I didn't want it to be so large that it was going to cover up this. And again, this is a prototype. So in the future, I'm going to weave in all my ends towards the bottom and then cover it up. But this is all single crochet. So how you do a single crochet is, let me show you here. Let me do a few more slip stitches. And then I'm going to change colors so you can see it better. Once you get the hang of it, it'll go fast and it'll go easy. It's like riding a bike. Once you get it, it's just, you've got it. All right, so then when you do get to the end and you want to finish your project, you're going to do one chain like you learned. Then you're going to cut your yarn, pull that end, and you've created a little knot to secure your work. Okay, so how you make a single crochet. Let me do this with the black. This will be for making the edge. Once I've showed you how to do all this, you're going to want to make your edge with single crochet, which looks like that's the top of the, okay. So again, you'll want to make your slip stitch. Your slip knot, like I showed you before. Got your slip knot. And let's say you want to work into the red stitches. So what I would do is I would, and I'm going to show this to you in the next video a little bit, not more clearly, but you'll get a refresher about where exactly in the project you're going to be working these stitches. But for now, we're just going to go into the red, and see, it's wanting to go into both loops because that's just easier. And I'm going to just nudge it a little bit with my fingernail. It's a little fidgety, and it's just that it's under one loop. I don't want under two loops, unless I do want it under two. But that's going to be a different look and a different feel. And you'll want to get your working yarn, and you'll want to, just like before, grab your working yarn with your crochet hook, pull it through the stitch, and now instead of pulling it through this next loop, don't. You're going to have two loops on your hook. At this point, you're going to grab the working yarn again with your hook and then pull it through both loops. And that is a single crochet. And that's how you join a new color with a single crochet, by the way. So you've joined your color. All single crochet stitches from this point on are going to look like this. You're going to have one loop on your hook. You're going to insert your hook into the stitch that you want to be in. In this case, it's just the red. And this is why I wanted nice loose hooks, because I'm working into this stitch. And I don't want to get, it's a little fidgety. The more you work on it, the easier it gets. Grab your working yarn with your hook, pull it through. You've got two loops on your hook. Grab your working yarn with your hook, pull it through both loops. And that is a single crochet. Do it again. Go through the stitch I want to work into. Grab my working yarn with my hook, pull it through the stitch. I've got two loops on my hook. Pull through both loops. And eventually, it will go pretty quickly. It's actually going to go faster when you're working the project because there'll be more to hold on to by that point. And you're going to be working on the back loop instead of the front loop, but this is just easier for you to see. So we're doing it this way here. But yeah, this is how you do single crochets all day long. Single crochet is a taller stitch than a slip stitch, and it's fatter, And once you know a chain and a slip stitch and a single crochet, you literally can do anything in crochet. All crochet stitches are based on these building blocks. For this project, you're only going to need to know how to make a chain, how to make your slip stitch, and then finally how to do some single crochet. And again, I'm going to show you this repeatedly throughout the tutorial video. But if you're going into that tutorial video on how to make the strap and you really have never crocheted before, then, or you haven't done it in a long time, then this is your refresher. This is your tutorial. Practice this for a few days or however long you need to take to make a very consistent chain with very consistent slip stitches into it. And once you have mastered that, then go to the next video and learn how to make this strap, which is going to be nicer looking than this one, I think, because this one's my prototype and I made a few mistakes. But ultimately, I really love how it turned out. I'm pretty proud of this one, and I'd love to show you how to make it. All right, so now you know how to do those things in crochet world. I'll probably be posting the tutorial video on the ukulele strap in a few days. Or maybe longer. You know, it's one thing to know is that this is a little time consuming, especially when you're working with slip stitches. This took me probably a whole day to make, and I had a cold, so I just kind of really just did it like for hours and hours, and that's not healthy for your hands. So I'm not going to let myself make my next strap, and this is the strap that I'm going to show you how to make. I'm not going to let myself work for 3-4 hours at a time because it's really not healthy. I'm going to take breaks like every half hour. So it might take me much longer. We'll see. It's also going to be a longer strap because I'm making it for my concert-sized ukulele. This is a tiny little sopranino. This is much smaller. I'm making a strap for my concert and then my tenor after that. So maybe about a week. Let's give me a week to make the thing, videotape it, and see about getting a video nice and edited for you. Because, you know, I think that the whole world should play ukulele. It's such a happy little instrument. And I also think the whole world should crochet because it's so much fun. And it allows both instruments, crochet and ukuleles, allow us to express our creativity in just a plethora of ways. There's no limit. And you know, these times we need to find all the happiness and good feelings we can get, right? So if you're new to ukulele, you're new to crochet, either or even not, maybe you're not new, maybe you're a pro at both, but you're just learning a new project here. Well, I wish you the best. I wish you much happiness and creativity, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. All right, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.